Team Baxter.
These are plastic parts to begin the steering assembly. Not much to look at right now. Get a couple bearings in there, and this all gets put together. I'll go ahead and get this together and show how it worked out, as there's not much to look at right now. So I had a minor setback. I built all the links with the wrong links, so I had to unassemble all 4 links that I built so far and rebuild them. Now these are steering links, and I've rebuilt the front links with the proper links, and now they're correct. So need to pay better attention to my instructions. Anyway, moving on. I got the links built now, and I'm gonna continue with the steering assembly. I've got the one part of it together. There's the saver. It's really tight and not very functional. I don't know. Anyway, got that together, and now I'm gonna put these links on to this steering assembly, and then this steering assembly will get mounted into the chassis. So got the links straight, got everything assembled, and everything's working fine. Everything looks pretty good and is moving pretty good, except for there's a little bit of rubbing here at the steering assembly right below the drive shaft connection. So I'm not going to do anything about it. It's minimal, just a little touch, little hint of a scrape. So I'm going to leave that alone and see what happens with it. So yeah, the steering's done, and most of the front end is done pretty much. So now moving on, I'm gonna complete the front end. It gets a few more pieces, and then I start the drive shaft assembly that comes out. So I'm installing the center drive shaft. I've already got it together. It's a couple pieces there, a pin in there holding this top piece on. I'll slip a little plastic cover over it. This goes over the pinion that I installed in the front differential. Line up the holes, and it gets a locking pin with some thread lock on it. Get a good douse of thread lock, not too much. It seems like Axial's upgraded the pins. They're all large pins now. M4s I've been running into. So run that all the way down and clean her up a little bit. And then I install the steering assembly. Just a couple links, a turnbuckle, just your basic steering setup, and that links up to the steering that I installed earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and get that servo installed. I've already zeroed my servo. For some reason they want you to install the servo before turning on the power. So I've zeroed my servo ahead of time, and then I'm going to install it the way they ask. The servo horn is at a slight angle off of the servo. So I'm installing 5646 WP, my standard servo. So I'm gonna get the servo installed, and I'll be back. Steering servo's installed. I put my own metal servo horn on there just to make sure I had enhanced durability. I got the links assembled, and it's connected to the steering setup here. One thing, if this servo goes out, it's going to be pretty hard to get to, because the next couple instructions have me building the rest of the parts on top of this. Like the ESC goes right here. So I'm going to move on. The next thing they have me doing is installing a few plates around, and then I start going in with the ESC plate and all that. So moving along with chassis parts, I installed this little cover that goes over electronics if you want to run your electronics in this small channel here. Also installed this other brace to kind of help your electronics. The steering is in over here. the steering servo. And on top of it, I've begun mounting the ESC plate, which gives me just enough space to get my driver down and into the slot for the servo if I need to service it at all. And there's one other hole on the other side. Not sure how effective this will be. I'm sure I'll see whenever I have to service the servo. Anyway, I got my Castle ESC soldered up, and this gets snapped into this ESC plate. The wires get run underneath of it. After this, they have me flip the chassis over and install the receiver down in this box, and then I seal that up. And I move on to the transmission. So, installing the ESC now. So I've got the electronics installed and the receivers installed underneath all of these wires. Pull them out of the way so you can see the receiver in there. That's a SR201 Spectrum receiver. My waterproof receiver could not fit in here. It is too big for the enclosure, so I had to put a non-waterproof receiver in here. That is Rely coated. It's got a conformal coating on there to kind of help moisture stay out of there, but not a waterproof receiver. So I'm hoping this waterproof box from Axial really works. It has the appropriate seals and should work. So go ahead and put this cover on there. Get these wires tucked in nicely so they're not coming out like this. Get this cover on there and then flip her over and get working on the transmission.